Hello to everyone joining in. How is your day? How's everyone doing? I'm a little early. I said I would come on at 6:30, but hi Lamaya. Am I saying that right? Hello guys. Hi. How are we on this Tuesday? Perfect. Awesome. Anna, you ever see those videos where I think it's one specific video, but where it's like a substitute trying to pronounce names and sometimes they don't pronounce them right? That's me. I try super hard to make sure that I'm pronouncing it right though. People pronounce my name wrong too, just based off of how it's spelled. How are you? I'm good. We'll see what tonight brings us for readings. How's everyone else too? Hi Paige, thanks for the follow. Hi Ernest. How are you? Oh, thank you for the compliments, guys. Thank you so much. Once we get a good amount of people in here, we will we'll just get right started. During the week, I kind of have to be a little quicker when it comes to the reading, so I have to try and not talk too much, guys. I know that's a little rough for me, but yeah, we'll just see how many we can get done before my husband has to go to work. Hey Beck, how are you? Miss you. Yeah, once we get like a good amount of people, guys, we can get straight into it. I actually was on Sunday, if you guys did not catch me. It was kind of a spur of the moment kind of a thing, and I had someone who I was supposed to do like a swap with, and like in the medium world, a swap is where you kind of like practice on each other. And it was someone who was a beginning medium and just kind of needed someone to like practice with, and that kind of fell through for her, so I hopped on live, and it wasn't too bad for a Sunday. Again, I'm not used to doing it on the weekends, but it wasn't bad. Most of all my private readings are on the weekends, so that's why I don't go live on the weekends. From Jersey. Oh, I'm close by, right in Pennsylvania. Little state neighbors there. But I appreciate everybody who joins my live, sends the follows, the likes, sends all the love. Let's see, I'm gonna just send this to my mods real quick. See if any of them are on. Did I include? Yeah, okay. All right, cool. How's everyone else's night going? I'm assuming it's night for most here. Hi, Tattoo Mama. Oh, looking by the picture, I love your two-tone hair. It looks like pink and green, or either pink and blue. I like that. I'd be way too scared to do it to my hair, though. My hair does not hold color very well at all. Hoping to relax. Well, that's what we're here for. Relaxation, chilling, talking. Again, I talk too much. Or at least that's what everyone around me tells me to, and I own up to it. You're welcome. Everyone else, how are we? Hi, Amy. Yeah, I talk a lot. Which is why I can't do spirit-led reading, because I talk way too much for that, and why I can never guarantee how many people I'm going to be able to read on a live. I kind of just connect deeper level with spirit, and I allow spirit to kind of control the reading in general. So if they want to keep talking, then the reading's going to keep going. I don't really cut them off. Most people ask me like, what is like, how do I figure out like that it's like towards the end of a reading? And basically it's all based off of their energy, and if their energy is starting to pull away and it's kind of like dragging things out, then I know that it's time to wrap things up. And I usually try to wrap things up with like a last minute like message from them to their loved ones. I don't do questions only because I connect on spirit on a deeper level, and it would take me a little bit to get the answer to the question, only because either the question is going to be answered with my psychic abilities, which is a whole other thing. It's just based off of my intuition, or if it's based off of medium. And for live on this account, I do strictly medium, and it takes a little longer to kind of get a conversation going with our loved ones. You have to think, our loved ones, they want to talk to us. It's kind of like catching up, like when you see someone after a long time and it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta tell you this, I gotta tell you this, I'm super excited to talk to you, blah blah blah. And then by the time, you know, it gets to the point to where it's like, okay, you gave me all this information, now they want to answer a question, it's just like 30 or 40 minutes have gone by. So I don't do like quick questions here and there. How long have you been doing mediumship? So I've only been doing mediumship for a year. Well, technically going on 2 years is when my spiritual awakening happened, but I didn't start doing actual readings until a full year during my spiritual journey. Only because I just, you know, wanted to get like the groundwork done for mediumship. I wanted to do what was my number one priority, which was my protection, and learn how to protect myself, learn how to go about it. I even took some courses with some other aspiring mediums, just so that I made sure that I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. And then after a full year of that is when I actually started doing reads for other people, like private readings here on TikTok. I think I've been on for almost a year now. Or no, not a year on TikTok. I did a year through like Facebook and then all that stuff. I do have 2 videos. It's 2 parts. It is on my profile if you want to take a look at my journey and how I kind of got here. It's a little short version, but again, I talk a lot, so that's probably why there's not a short version. Thank you, Nicole, so much for following. Okay, guys, there's a handful of you guys on here. So I don't do spirit-led mediumship. I actually kind of do spirit direct mediumship, if that makes sense. Basically, spirit will kind of gravitate me towards the person who is supposed to be getting the reading. So I kind of just go off of what they tell me to. They kind of do the whole spiel. So I usually will go through the comments. You guys will tell me the relationship of the person that you guys want to speak to without giving me other details. And then whoever spirit draws me to is who will get the reading. So that's amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Brittany. Oh, thanks, Kennedy. Yeah, it is cool. It's definitely something I pushed away for a while based out of fear. I was very fearful to do something like this. I am, especially after I had my son, I was more fearful that I could let something negative in, and I wanted to protect him as much as I could. I didn't want to bring anything negative into my home. I didn't want anything to attach to me, you know, that kind of stuff. That gray area and the unknown really freaked me out. I was very fearful. Especially since after he was born, that's kind of where my spiritual awakening was like heightened. So I was getting a lot of spirits that were just kind of coming forth. They were in my home. I couldn't tell if my home was haunted. So it was just a very scary time in general. So once I got everything under control, it became cool. Yeah, no, I was super nervous, and I actually tried shutting it off. And I explained that in my videos on my profile if you guys want to go and check them out. But in, you know, I guess as a generalized idea, the number one thing was protection. After I was very comfortable and confident in how protecting myself, that's when I kind of was able to trust myself and trust spirit that my protection was enough and that I could do this. So if you guys would like a reading, go ahead and comment the relationship of the person that you would like to speak to. Don't put any other details in the chat. Yes, Kennedy, absolutely. And it was just my number one priority at that moment. Yeah, so put your relationship with the person you guys want to talk to. I'm actually going to put some theta sounds in the background just so hopefully my son doesn't hear me. And then again, refrain from putting details in the chat. There are scammers out there that are watching these lives, and they basically use the information you put in chats to try and reach out to you and be like, hey, your Uncle Bob came to me in a vision last night and I want to speak to you about it. That kind of a thing. Also, it's a disservice to you and your loved one if during your reading they want to say those specific information to kind of give you validation, but it's kind of ingenuine now that you said it out loud. But you guys can comment the relationship as many times as you want. Don't think that you're annoying me. It's how it goes. The more I see your name, the more I kind of see which name is kind of sticking out to me. And that's the one that Spirit is kind of guiding me towards. Again, I don't know if there's a limit on how many times you can comment through TikTok guidelines, but however times as you can, go right ahead. Okay, Stacy, are you here? Stacy with an I think trying to talk to Mom. I also, guys, got a bigger paper pad, so hopefully I don't have to keep doing multiple pages and sending you guys multiple screenshots of your notes since I'm always running out of room. Oh, perfect, Stacy. Did you want to stay in the chat, or did you find it more comfortable to talk out loud and like the little guest box that pops up? Whichever you prefer, whichever you're most comfortable with. I also just want to let everyone know that all of my live recordings get uploaded to my YT channel. This is for 2 reasons. First reason, so that you guys can kind of go back. You can do like, okay. This is kind of so that you guys can go back and kind of watch your video over again. Again, emotions are super high during a reading, so I understand why most people might not remember everything that happened in a reading, so this way you can kind of go back and watch it. And 2, for me also, so that others who maybe want to see more of my work before they book with me, I can kind of direct them there through my website and kind of say, hey, here's my channel, watch my lives. If you like me, cool. If not, I tried. All right, let's see if I can add you. So you said live, so I guess that's a chat. Let me see if I see your name pop up. There's not too many people on here, so I should be able to. Can you request to join here, Stacy? Or did you just want to be in the chat? I thought live meant that you wanted to talk. Okay, perfect. Cool. And let me make sure I can hear you.
There we go.
Oh, I can hear you. Hi, how are you?
Well, good, thank you.
Good, awesome. So, have you ever had a reading done before?
Quite a few years ago I did.
Okay, I mean, it's the same gist with all readings. I just ask that you stay open-minded. A lot of times, it might be things that you won't think will come up in the reading, and it will anyway. They could also kind of talk about the people that are around you still here. So, like, they might bring up your neighbor, and you might say, no, they're not a gym teacher who lives on Walloway Street. And then you're like, oh, but I do know someone who does. So just keep an open mind. I do write all of these notes down as well, and I will send it to your direct messages.
Thank you.
Also, this gets uploaded, so if you ever want to rewatch this, go right ahead on my
Awesome.
okay? All
Thanks,
right,
Kennedy.
so I am going to try and connect with Mom.
Okay.
Once I have a good amount of details, I will come back, kind of talk to you, see if we're with Mom. If so, then we can continue, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. And everyone in the chat, if you guys have questions, comments, or anything, and you think I'm ignoring you, I most definitely am not. I just, out of respect of my sitter and out of respect of the loved ones on the other side, I give all of my attention to them. So there might be comments that I don't get to see, okay? So behave in the chat, y'all. Okay. Kind of laughing a bit because I kind of asked for Stacy's mom to step
Song.
forward. It made me think of the song. Yes.
Yep. It's so funny because before that song came out, and even while my mom was alive, nobody would ever make a comment about it, you know?
Mhm.
And then since she had passed, every single person, I used to tell her, I hate that song. And every single person brings it up. I'm like,
Sorry.
no, it's just funny because it's another way of her being like, hey, you know,
Yep,
how
exactly.
do you?
It's a running joke that's going to keep
Yeah, it
going
is.
for you.
It is. My pup may bark in a minute. My kiddo might walk in
That's
from work.
totally fine. You might hear my kiddo at some point too. So.
Ooh, chilly. Oh my goodness, I just got the hiccups.
Don't psych yourself out. Don't get nervous.
I think I just was like, oh.
Oh, that's a different one. Okay.
Well, you're already doing it good because she's a different one altogether.
That was different. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I do have some information coming forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and say those things out loud. If at the end you can resonate with it, let me know. So I do have an older woman here. I do feel as though on the physical side, she brings up a couple of things. She was bringing up and kind of making me feel most of the things as well. She kind of is giving me a little bit of back pain here. It's kind of like a back stiffness, back pain. So I don't know if maybe she was immobilized for a little bit at any point. She also made me very kind of either trembling or like just a shaky feeling when I was trying to write, and my writing started to actually be affected by this as well. She also directed me towards a little bit of like clearing of the throat, and kind of feels like it needs to be cleared a lot. So I don't know if she was constantly always clearing her throat, or she had something like any type of tubes or anything at any point with her throat. It kind of feels as though towards the end was a little bit of a struggle. It kind of just feels like a lot of like up and down with like maybe even health. She did show me, it's super funny, but she was showing me like flashes. The only way that I can interpret that after I had asked what the flashes meant is that maybe she was kind of maybe in and out. I don't know if this is like in and out of consciousness, in and out of like an actual like facility, but it just seems like it's just like something just keeps flashing. And it is definitely towards the end of life for her. Some specific things that she showed me, very strange, but she showed me flowers. However, when people show me flowers, it's usually a general sense. However, the flowers that she was showing me were kind of like tropical flowers, like maybe even like, I don't know what kind of flowers you would call them because I'm not good with flowers, but they're like the big flowers, like Hawaiian, like tropical something along those lines. Also, before I connected with her when we were kind of talking about the whole Stacy's mom thing, she did show forth a rabbit, like a bunny came through. Um, so I don't know if anything of this resonates with you.
So, she did pass away. At the end, she did have a tube put in, not for very long. I feel like she was in and out between this side and the other side a little bit.
Okay.
Um, for maybe within a month or so. She did go from one place to another place to another place while trying to figure it all out.
Okay.
The flower is a hibiscus.
Okay.
I would assume it's probably orange or pink or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like the tropical vibes it was
Yes,
giving. Yes.
yes, that's a hibiscus. Sometimes it's a lilies.
Mhm.
And then I guess I'm kind of a smart butt, and I go around and I'll be like, you're late for a very important date,"
Oh, maybe that's it.
which
However
I
you
love Alice
resonate,
in
yeah.
Wonderland. Yeah.
However you guys resonate with information is how you resonate, only because they're your memories.
Yep.
They can give me flashes of like your memories and things that come up, and it's kind of just like based off of what you guys, know. So usually if it comes up and you can place it, then that's information's for you. If it's something you really can't place, I always say don't force it. But sometimes things will also come up later, hence the videos that you can find or the notes. But okay, so I do feel as though we are with mom here. She seems like a very funny woman. She was kind of talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman doesn't have any filter.
Nope.
Um, and like I wrote down like no filter. She has
No.
no filter at all.
She had a
It just
way to
seems,
say things, but she still had no filter.
yeah, no. It really seems like it's so funny too because it feels as though like some points she was like good with her words though, and it's just like she thinks about things that you wouldn't even
Yes.
think about
So do I.
anyway. And it's just like, how did you even come up with that? Like, that's such a cool way to think, but like, how did you get there, kind of a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of her things were kind of questionable, and it's just like,
Yes.
huh, okay. It's kind
That's
of like
what
it
I do
takes you a
too.
sec. It's
People
almost
say
like,
her and I are like that way.
yeah, and it almost is like it takes you a second to like be like, oh, what is she just saying? And then it's like, oh, okay, really?
Uh-huh. It starts
um,
to make you think, and then you're
oh
like, oh
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah. Um, but it kind of she's kind of giving me this and usually when they give me this it means that they were kind of more on the chill aspect. So it feels to me like she was more laid back in terms to where big things didn't matter, if that makes sense. It's almost like she's not like old school much. It's more so like that she could definitely get into like more modern ways. Like she wasn't someone that would be like super strict with like old school type of
Yeah.
things. Um, let me see what specific thing she's coming up with right now. So I don't know. She's showing me something that maybe even be like milkshakes. It just shows. She's just showing me like a tall glass here with like a really long straw, and to me, like it kind of looks like a milkshake of some sort, or it could be like a mixed drink of some sort.
I'll have to hold on to that one.
Okay. I will draw it because again, when it comes up in images and they're not saying specifically what it is, it's hard to come up with what it is.
Maybe she's laughing at my collection of all my like Stanley cups or Dunkin' cups.
Maybe it's just like it kind of looks like an old fashioned like a glass you would get in at like Nifty 50s kind of milkshake
Yeah.
where it's like the tall like triangle looking shape. But I wrote it down for you.
Thank you.
She's also showing me writing of some sort. So do you have something of hers that has her handwriting on it?
I have a lot of things from her.
Yeah, because it shows like something like that could be like either a card or like some type of
Yes.
stationery, but it has something that has like her handwriting. Okay.
I have like birthday cards and cards from my children that she would write.
No. She's
So
also
it's
showing me
cardboard.
she's also showing me a ladybug. Why are you showing me So also she's also showing like caregiver kind of signs for me. Like someone took care of her. It's almost like someone would take care of her even when she was in the hospital, kind of a thing. Someone would make sure that she was being,
Yeah.
cleaned well. She's also showing me like even like nails. Like I don't know if someone
Yes.
was even like taking care of her nails as well.
Yeah.
And she's showing a lot of gratefulness towards this. I feel as though it's something that mentally someone can struggle with having to do these things for a parent, loved one, grandmother, whichever one, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's like big, grateful, like pride towards this. It kind of also shows emotion too, because I feel as though she was kind of a person who liked her independence, and it kind of makes me feel as though she was someone who wouldn't particularly like that kind of milestone that they have to go through, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Something that they weren't looking forward to, like someone having to take care of them.
Even when she passed, we made sure her nails were painted.
Yeah, she was showing me like a whole like nail, like a nail bed. Um, okay. She's also showing me the letter T as well. So I don't know if you or someone around you with the letter T. This could be a first, middle, or last name. Not always the middle, but it's usually first or last. All letters and numbers that come forth, I usually just put in a circle. So if you see something in a circle, that's why it was in the circle.
Yeah, there's two of my children and a sibling.
Okay. So T's are a lot in the family.
I just realized that now. Wow. Yeah.
Does someone play baseball or softball?
My boys did play baseball.
Okay, because she's showing me a baseball, so I'm assuming that's right where she's directing the T towards.
Softball too.
Okay.
That would probably be my youngest.
She's also showing me, she's kind of making me feel really nauseous too. Where this is coming from. Did someone have stomach problems that even cause like nausea? Because I'm getting nausea, and then I'm also it's following up with like actual like abdomen pain.
I do.
You
And
do.
possibly what she went through could attribute to that. Sometimes it's people would say it's that, but yeah.
So this pain mostly is like in my upper right quadrant of my abdomen. Almost like right below my ribs, like my diaphragm. So more like towards the up top. I'm gonna put the belly pain too. Okay. Okay, that's weird. She's also showing me like weights. So is she still on the suns here at this point, possibly?
I would think so.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. It was cutting out a bit.
That's okay. I think so. And I think, like, yeah, I think she's trying to get to my youngest son.
Okay. And would he by chance have that nausea, possibly belly issues of some sort, or just like experienced nausea recently? It just feels like she's doing a lot of the same things, and I feel like she's trying to direct it towards one person.
So we're trying to figure out exactly what he has.
Okay.
He has like idiopathic hives pretty much, but there's a reason behind it. So they literally have just started treating his stomach to try to calm down the specific histamines in there.
And it's causing that. Okay. Yeah, because I think that she wants to talk about him. Um, I feel as though he's pretty bummed out with what's going on. It feels as though he's kind of someone who likes to like go and do things, and I feel as though he's being held back with kind of like a pause on things, and I feel as though it's kind of taking a hit on his like spirit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very annoying. I mean, he, for no reason at all, will just break out in hives all over.
Okay. Um, and I even feel as though part of him is it's taking a hit at his confidence too.
Yeah.
So it's like hurting his spirit, and it's also like kind of hurting his confidence because I feel as though he even feels maybe even embarrassed, even though he shouldn't feel embarrassed. I feel as though this has been a stressor for you too, because like your mom, you know, you want to
Yeah.
heal your children the best as you can,
And it
and
just makes him itch so bad all over, even without the hives. I mean, he's on a max dose amount of an allergy med.
I feel as though she's talking about like advocate, advocate, advocate. Like I feel as though you're very heavily advocating, and I feel like you were going to be rewarded with this advocation for him. And I feel like even when they tell you answers, I feel as though you're going to still want to dive deeper into that.
That's exactly what I'm
Um,
doing.
because it's almost like it's like they're giving you like generalized information, and you're like, yes, but I want the specific. Like I want the exact reason. I want to know exactly what it is so that it doesn't keep happening and it doesn't happen. Like it's kind of almost like they're kind of saying like, oh well, stay away from this kind of stuff, however it might still, like, you know, you might just have to deal with this kind of a thing. And it's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I want to know exactly what it is so then we can nip it in the butt and he doesn't have to deal with this kind of a thing.
That's exactly what I said to them yesterday. Made an appointment. I want to be proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah.
When he eats, it seems like it acts worse. So I'm like, I want food testing. I want this testing. And I just keep going. I'm like, I don't want to give him meds to suppress whatever the issue is. I want to try to take care of the issue so he doesn't have to rely on having to take meds every so many hours or shots every so many hours.
It's literally, and it's funny because they'll mention these things because it's something that you're currently going through, and so she's definitely bringing that up because she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
She's being aware of that she's got it going on. She's helping from the other side as best as she can, but she's also letting you know, like, she saw you yesterday doing that at the appointment, so she's bringing that up.
Yep.
There's a big sense of pride that she has watching you with your kids, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Because and it feels as though she's kind of talking about how like you question that sometimes. Are you doing enough?
Yeah.
And I feel as though like she would hit you up beside the head, like if she was here, like if you even question that. Um, okay. Now, was there some type of? She's bringing up the home. I think it was wherever she resided in before she passed. Um, it's almost as if she's kind of talking about there was question like after like what where her belongings would go to and where to it would go, or what's going to be kept, what's not going to be kept, kind of a thing. And there was kind of a lot of, she's kind of showing me that there was even worry about what she would want to be kept, kind of a thing. Would this make sense for you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. She's kind of talking about in general, like, it just feels as if she's talking about how she wasn't a very materialistic person in the first place. She didn't really have ties to things like physically. Um, I feel as though she was more of a memory kind of person. It kind of seems like she just had memories behind things, and I feel
Yeah.
as though those are the things that you did keep, and she's
That's
happy that you
exactly
kept.
what I did do. Yep. My
Yeah.
brother was more the materialist, and I'm just more the memory.
And she loves that because I feel as though like you guys are very similar in certain ways, and you kind of think the same in that aspect. And she's glad that you realize what she treasured most in those things, because I feel as though you're the type of the same way. I feel as though you keep things based off of memories too.
Yeah. I kept pictures and wanted pictures, and my brother was throwing them out, and I kept sweaters and things, and he was throwing them out. So
No, she's so thankful that you have those things, because it feels as though she's like, everything that I would have picked, she picked.
that's what I thought. What would she?
And that's exactly how she's showing it too. She's like, she literally knew, like, it's almost as if everything that you did for her wasn't for what you wanted.
Right.
It was everything for her. Like you had a different point of view than your brother did. I feel as though he did things based off of like what he would want
Yes.
or how he wanted things to go. And for you, it was just like you kept putting yourself in your mom's shoes.
Yep.
And I feel as though that's just the type of person that you are.
Yeah.
And that shows like 100% all the way through. And that's one of the things that she really like loved about you. And I feel as though she's similar in that way as well. She's kind of showing me like you're the type of person to like take the shirt off your back for someone else kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And she shows that with like such strength to where like she's calm and she's like, oh, 100%. Like if someone's needed something, she's got it. And I
Yep.
feel as though she says she was in that way, but it's like you take that to like a tenfold. It's like she's a protective kind of person as well, but it's like you're above and beyond. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel as though like her biggest sense of pride that she had here on earth was how she raised you to be. And it's almost as if you're a mirror of her life. It's like she didn't have much in this life. However, one thing that she has to show for is you.
Oh.
And I don't know, she doesn't peg me as like the emotional type though. Like physically like outburst of like emotion.
I think it would depend on what it was.
Let's see, belongings. Let me write this down before I forget. Okay, belongings. I'm trying to get better with that, guys. Writing down actually what I'm seeing. She's also showing me the number 5. The number 5 could be children. Most times it's either the 5th of a month or the month of May.
It could be May.
Okay. It's so funny because most times it ends up being the month. She's definitely showing that. And I feel as though there's a big significance for May.
There's a birthday.
Yeah, she's also showing me the letter K as well.
I'll have to take note of K.
Okay, I put that at the top as well, and it's circled. Okay, she's showing me a bunch of different stuff right now. Okay. Ooh. What do I want to go with first? What should I go with first?
Just tell her have some patience. It'll all be there. Probably so excited. Like she just gets so excited for things.
Guess. So it's weird. She showed me things together. So these two things are together. So I don't know if there's a specific to it. So I'm going to say them together. She showed me wings, but she was also showing me like airplane.
Huh.
So I don't know. Does someone like actually like look up to the sky when they talk to her?
I do.
Because it's like she showed me things in the sky and then she showed me like conversation. So for me, it's almost as
I
if
do.
someone's having conversations like up in the sky. And it's so funny to like hear how people talk to their loved ones. Like some people like talk to them like when they're facing a picture, or they talk to them in their prayers at night, or they talk in the car, or whatever it is. But it's almost as if she showed me everything that's like up in the sky. So that would make sense why she was showing me like multiple things. I guess she was trying to get me to that general area.
Yeah, I'll be outside and just talk with her, or I'll go to the cemetery and just sit there and just look up and talk with her.
No, that's so cute. So I feel as though did you have like a tomboyish nature as a kid?
A stronger personality.
Okay. Because she's kind of showing how I don't know if she wasn't girly, but it's almost as if like a big relief of someone who's not like super girly, someone like
Yeah, I just kind of wore whatever, did whatever, and I
it's
didn't
almost
care.
it's almost as if like she was like a big sigh of relief, like, oh thank God. Like that she didn't have to go through that, if that makes sense. Like a big relief in that way. And I feel as though she just talks about how like laid back and easy you were in general, to where it was like you didn't like drive her crazy, in a sense to where it was like she never really had to physically worry about you as a person because you were always a good person.
Yeah.
She says, and she said this with her finger up. She's like, doesn't mean there wasn't times she drove me absolutely nuts. It got into trouble,
Yeah.
but behind everything that she did, she was always a good girl.
Yeah.
She's also showing me, and I feel as though this is kind of going into like a message as well. Um, she's showing me how like you have conversations with her in the sky, but she's also showing me that she's sending you birds. So I don't know if you see birds often or if you see birds in like pairs. Um,
Usually I say that that's like my grandparents.
yeah, and I feel as though she just kind of talks about in general how like all of your loved ones are kind of sent to you in these types of ways. And I feel as though she's talking about how like you have a generalized feeling when you see them too. And it's almost as if this bird is either like acting weird, like in a sense to where like it should have flew away and it didn't.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's like you're like, oh, you're not a bird. Like
Yep.
in like your
You're
mind. You're like,
exactly
oh, you're
right.
someone else.
Exactly
Um
right. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm
and it's
like right next to you and you're still chilling out with me. Or like, why are you over here sitting on my car today?
and she's almost like saying like how like happy your loved ones are on the other side that you're so aware of them to where it's like it's kind of like you go about your day and you're constantly always thinking of them, if that makes sense. So it's like when these things happen, like before, like some people will be like, oh, a week ago that might have been it, but it's like you always are on your mind looking for signs, or
Yes.
you kind of are like spiritually aware in that sense to where you it's kind of like you're not a type of person who doesn't know that they are on the side. It's like you're confident, you know they're still there and they're around you, so I don't have to sit there and tell you that they're around. I think you already know that they're around. And
I
I
think
feel
when
as
you mentioned a ladybug too, my mom's favorite colors were red and black. So sometimes when I see ladybugs, I'm like, oh, another annoying ladybug, but it's red and black.
oh, yeah, and a lot of times when ladybugs come through on readings, it's usually one of two things: either like they're sending like luck kind of thing, or it's
Yeah.
because they're like visiting you as well.
Yep.
um Where's the ladybug? Okay. Um, and I feel as though your life is very busy and chaotic right now. I feel like you have a lot going on.
Yes.
And I feel as though like you can't catch a break, if that makes sense. And she's kind of talking about how like you're juggling like a million things at once.
Yeah.
And I feel as though you're like kind of feeling like your energy levels are starting to deplete from it, but it's like you're trying to stay strong. And I feel as though she's constantly trying to remind you that there's not like an award for the person who can handle the most shit. She's like there is no award for that. Like the only person who's pressuring you to take on all of the shit is yourself.
Sometimes I laugh because like I'll be doing stuff and I'll be like, I gotta run here and I gotta go there. And I'm like, where did my shoe go? And
Yeah.
then, like I'm like, I'll go get another pair. I'm like, where's that shoe? And then all of a sudden, like I'll calm down and go look. I'm like, well, how did that get in the bathroom from the living room? I'm like, okay, I got it. I got it.
So
I'll
funny.
just go take a nap or like, something.
Oh yeah. And I feel as though this is something that she's like you are slowly trying to teach yourself, is to not
Yes.
take on so much shit. However, I feel like there's a lot of things that are beyond your control. It's just a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But I think she also wants to say like remember to still give yourself like self-care, and she says and stop feeling guilty for wanting to give yourself time and give yourself self-care. It's almost as if like you always feel guilty doing things for yourself, like as if you're not supposed to. And she's like you gotta snap out of that, like because there's no reason for you to feel that. Like you deserve to be rewarded as well. And she's kind of talking about like, yeah, like it's almost as if, I don't know if you feel this way, but it's like, oh well, this is my years with my kids, like they're what matter, blah blah blah. And she's like, yeah, but you have to realize kids are also a huge chunk of your life too. And if you're focusing all of your time and energy to your household, your family, your pets, whatever you got going on,
Yep.
that's a big chunk of you just saying, oh well, one day I'll have myself. So it's like, one, you never know, kind of a thing. Like,
Yeah.
like don't sit there and constantly always bet on being able to do things for yourself. Do it now while it still matters. And she's like, even if you just take an hour to yourself each day, it's not that big of a deal.
That's exactly what I've been working on.
And it's so funny because this is coming up in a lot of my readings, and I'm guilty of this too. Hence why I even started doing this as much as I have, because my husband was like, just do it, take an hour each day at least.
Well, he's right.
And exactly, it's like at the
Don't
end
tell
of the day,
him though.
And then she's like, you want all this energy, and how do you expect to get all this magical energy if you're not doing anything to rebuild your energy, if that makes sense.
Very true.
So I think she definitely wants to do a lot more of that. And I also feel as though she wants to give yourself more grace, because I feel as though
I'm so hard on myself, everybody
yeah,
says.
it just feels like you're like your biggest critic.
Yep.
And it's almost as if like, why are you feeling guilty for things that you're not doing or things beyond your control? It's just like you're your own worst enemy, and
I am.
you got to stop. She's like, you got to stop. And I feel as though she's like, she did the same stuff. She was in
She
the
did.
same boat, but she said now she has the upper hand because she's on the other side and she's helping you and she knows all the answers now.
That's why I laugh, like with my shoes go missing or my keys, or like I'm at work doing something and I'm like, yeah, I'll go do it. I'm like, man, this elevator's taking forever, you know? And then I'm like, oh, you already did it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, but it just, and it feels as though she's kind of just talking. She's like, again, the guilt has got to stop. The guilt has got to stop. And you need to start loving yourself a little more. So I hope that helped. I hope that resonated a lot with you. I will send you this of your notes. It's all on one page, guys, since I got this nice
Good
big notebook
job.
now. Now the real thing is going to be like how far I have to hold my phone to take a picture of it. But I'm going to send her love and light back with you. And
Thank you so very much.
absolutely. And I have a feedback post pinned on my page if you would like to
Okay, yeah, I
leave
can
me
try to do
feedback of
that.
how
I'm
you're
learning
doing.
this stuff. I'm learning all this stuff.
Oh,
With
me too.
TikTok.
Listen, everyone in the comments usually has to tell me how to even do this.
I have to go ask my boys. I'm like, so who can help me now?
And it's
And they're
funny
like, you're
because
old.
yeah, it's funny because I've always been like into technology growing up. Like I was the kid that like all my family would come to for tech, but like when it comes to social media, I'm as dumb
Yeah.
as a doornail. Like I'm done with it. I can't.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being
Thank
vulnerable
you.
and allowing everyone to see your reading on live. Also, remember my YT channel will have the full video, so
Oh,
by tonight you'll be able to go back and watch it, show people, whatever you want to do with it.
that's awesome.
So thank you so much.
very much.
Of course, absolutely.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, guys, that was such a great reading. Let me just close down that reading real quick. Okay. That was awesome. So funny. See, and again, guys, this is why, like, again, we kept trying to pinpoint what I was going towards, and she kept going for the sun. She was like, no, we're talking about the sun here. Oh, you're welcome, Stacy. Oh, thank you so much, Candace. I'm going to try and read some of your guys' comments or questions. We don't have a lot of people on tonight. I'm shocked. Maybe it's because it's a Tuesday. I'm so used to doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I'm trying to do Tuesdays and Thursdays since my Wednesdays and Fridays are starting to get filled up, and I don't want to just do Mondays. So I'm trying to flip it. I'm trying to do Tuesdays, Thursdays instead. I might have to go back to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But thank you so much, Apple user. Have you ever connected with an animal? So I have never actually sat and physically tried to connect with an animal. Other words, no one has sat there and said, hey, can you connect with my dog? But animals do come through my reading all of the time, especially if it's a close pet. I actually had a reading at my house 2 weekends ago, and they brought forward like a prized possession of a turtle that they had. And it was like the turtle was super important, and they brought that up. I've had pets come through like dogs. I had another reading the other day and a little small dog came forward. So I do get readings of animals, but I've never actually tried to like connect specifically with an animal and just the animal only. But I'm always open to things. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Yeah, losing an animal is always rough, very rough. Oh, thank you, Kennedy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Absolutely. So I give like a couple minutes in between readings just so that I can kind of collect and gather my thoughts and kind of get my energy back up. It also gives spirit. It's kind of like spirit aren't like an open and closed door. You can close the door to them, but it's kind of like they linger a little bit. So out of respect of all of my readings, I try to be kind of, it's hard to explain in terms, but it's almost like I try to get the energy to go completely away before I connect with another energy, if that makes sense. So if you guys have any questions, just chit chat for a few. No, absolutely. And I'm definitely shocked that there's not that many people on here. We usually have around close to like 100. I'm a little shocked. No. Again, try to refrain from saying your details in the chat, guys. I mean, there's not many on right now to even say that there's a scammer here, but you never know. What was your first experience like? What experience do you mean? Do you mean like my first reading? Or like how I came about and knew that this is what I was supposed to do? Okay, so my first reading, I guess my first ever reading technically was, I wasn't given a reading, if that makes sense. It's actually part of my journey. It's actually in my videos that I have on my page. But spirit started to just kind of come forward to me and telling me who they were for. And it was actually people around in my life. For instance, my sister's husband, his grandfather came through for me one day and was just telling me all this stuff about him. And then I kind of just went and texted my brother-in-law and was like, hey, you have a grandfather, and did he do this, look like this, and any of this resonate? And he's like, a skeptic, by the way, and he's like, how do you know all that? Like, and I'm like, I don't know, I was just taking a shower and this guy just started talking to me and told me I needed to tell you about it. So I don't know if you would say that that was a reading. My first ever reading was actually during a course I took. And it was another medium that I had found through a group that I was in. And it was like one of the end-in classes was like how to actually have a reading. And it was a little sad because it was actually a bit of a traumatic reading for someone, and it was a child. So I was kind of emotional during the reading, if that makes sense, but only because it was the biggest thing for me is how to deliver the things that spirit are telling me. I don't deliver negative things. However, sometimes on a way to connect someone, they will tell me details that are kind of hard. So it's kind of hard in certain situations with especially traumatic passings. It was a car accident, so kind of making her relive through that. Obviously she was happy because she got to connect with her son, but for me it was just like kind of felt wrong saying these things. Like, I don't know, I think that was the biggest mental thing for me with readings, was like, how do I tell people all this sad stuff, like, and have people crying in front of me? Like, I'm not that person. I don't like making people cry. So I think that was like a really big loop I had to go through to kind of figure out how to do this. Especially since I'm an empath. I've always known I was an empath. I will watch movies and my face will show all the emotions of the characters. My husband makes fun of me for it all the time. I cry during movies. I cry a lot. So I was like, how do I sit there and give a reading to someone and then like not cry? But then it was like, I realized that I'm not specifically given the reading. The spirit is given readings through me. Not saying I don't get emotional sometimes. Most times I will get emotional, but it's because it's an emotional setting. But I put my own thoughts, feelings, emotions to the side during every reading. So my emotions that do come forth are actually from spirit. And that took a while to even discover that that was even a thing. And again, there's things that we think we know how mediumship is, and it's like not. Like, I think before all of this, I would sit there and think, oh, a person who is a medium probably has the person right in front of them and they're having like a conversation back and forth. And it's not like that. It's different for everyone. Some people, they hear it, some see it, some have a combo of both. And sometimes most of your information is just claircognizance, which is just clear knowing. But it's different. It's just like you have to learn along the way. And the biggest thing is just trust. Because if you trust what spirit is giving you and you relay that information, what can it hurt? You know what I mean? So it's a big thing about like your own confidence when it comes to it. But I always say that everyone has the skills in order to do this. It's just how susceptible you are to the spiritual world, how open you are to the world, how connected you are. And I think like your intentions are like really big when it comes to it as well. So I feel as though someone who strongly wants to get into this, go for it. Just make sure, my number one advice is always protection first. Learn how to protect yourself. Learn how to turn it on and off. You don't want to be a medium who is constantly having the spiritual world right at your fingertips kind of a thing. It drains your energy a lot. So when you see mediums that are like, they go into the store and they start stopping people and it's like they 24/7 have spirits around them, it literally depletes their energy. And I've also heard through other mediums that they realize that it actually can cause health issues for mediums who don't know how to turn it off or who don't choose to turn it off. I feel like my mom talks to me, but then I don't know if it's what I think she would be saying, you know. Oh, 100%. And that's where it comes to like your trust. Like I remember actually in my courses when I first started out, I was expecting it to be like a different voice that they were talking to me, or like words, or like, again, I thought they would be physically in front of me talking. And it's really not. It's basically, when it comes to clairvoyance, it's a little different because you'll get like memories and like snippets of memories and you realize they're not yours. So then you say it and you get like symbols and things like that. So then that's a little easier to navigate. But when it comes to clairaudience, I struggled with that a little bit. But then I was like, if these things are kind of coming to me in like one word sentences or something I wouldn't normally say, or just has like different intentions. But again, that's why you kind of separate yourself and you say, all of my personal thoughts, feelings, and emotions are to the side. Everything that I see, hear, do is all going to be through spirit, and you trust that it's for them. But if you feel as though mom's talking to you, mom could be talking to you. But okay, guys, if you want another reading, I have time for one more reading. If you would like a reading, go ahead and post, comment the relationship of the person you want to speak with. Again, don't do details in the chat. Comment as many times as TikTok will allow you to. Daisy, are you still here? I think you said you wanted to talk to Dad. Daisy, Dad. DD. All right, Daisy. Did you feel more comfortable going in the chat, or did you want to come up in the little guest box up here? I wonder if there was a way I could fix this box. I don't know. Interesting. Totally up to you, Daisy. Whatever your preference is. Don't think I can go up in a box. Okay, you can stay in the chat if you're more comfortable with that. That's totally fine. It's your preference. But I'm going to sit here and try to connect with Dad. Once I get a good amount of information, I will then tell Chris to stop being loud. Who's Twister Bald? Who are you, Twister Bald? Who are you? Anyway, sorry, Daisy. I will get some information. I will come back on here. Well, hey, Chris, how are you? But we have like a super chill night, guys. We only have a few people on here, so we don't have to worry about the comments or anything. So I will come back and see if we're connected with Dad, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, so I do have a few things here. I do have a mail with me. Okay. So I don't know if this has to do with like his personality. However, it's kind of hard getting certain information out of him. It's like he's willing to answer questions, but he isn't like free flowing with his words, which means to me that he's usually like a man of very few words. It feels as though he has kind of like a hard shell to him. And it's kind of hard for him to be vulnerable with people, particularly strangers. Would this make sense for him? He's also, when it comes to like his passing, he's kind of given me, so he's making my arm feel funny. And he's also making my a little bit of pressure on my chest as well. So I don't know if he had circulatory issues. He also like showed me a little bit of like indigestion as well. So in my mind, that usually is circulatory. This could do with heart, blood pressure, any of those type of things. He's also making me feel very flushed and hot. He also was kind of talking about how, like, in general, he had health issues and may not have always taken care of his health, if that makes sense. Other things that came through was, he also showed me a little bit of back pain, too. It was a heart attack, okay. He also showed me some back pain, too, as well. So I don't know if that's something he experienced during his heart attack or if back pain is just something he generally had. He also talks about how just like emotions may have been tough for him to express out loud. Kind of like men don't cry kind of aspect. He's also showing me like he was like a food lover of sorts. But like that was like one of the first things he said was like food lover. And so I think that this like he may have even been like a running joke when it comes to him as well. He seems like a big teddy bear in sorts, meaning like there was a lot of love for him. But I feel as though he's also kind of a hard man to read, if that makes sense. It just feels as though he wouldn't generally talk to strangers or give too much info. Like, didn't really show me. Yeah, it doesn't feel like he gave too much to strangers. Like, he wouldn't meet a stranger and then tell them his, like, life story. It's almost as if he would talk openly to the people who were closest with him. He had no trouble with that. It was just like he was a very introverted kind of person that way. I feel as though he's also talking about, like, a routine, that he had a specific routine that he constantly did all of the time. He wasn't someone who would go out and do many different things. And I feel as though he kind of talks about how, like, he's like a homebody of sorts in general. But I feel as though there was very specific topics that he enjoyed, and it was like he would very much so love talking about them. I feel like he was kind of talking about how he even liked maybe even like a debate of sorts. Where it's like even if someone had like a different opinion than him, he had no problem with going back and forth about it. With this information that was given, do you feel as though we were with Dad? Okay. All right, so I will continue and see what else we can get from him. Let me see if oh, thanks, Chris. Good chance, okay. Okay, I will write that down, but I feel as though he's talking about how you really had a pretty hard time with his passing. And this is like very vague for people in general, but I feel as though like you really are like struggling like even mentally from his passing. He's also talking about in general, I feel as though he talks about how there's some things that he wish he did while he was still here, in the aspect of a father role, meaning that I feel as though he talks about how there are some ways that he could have been a little more present in a father role. So I'm also going to say this too. He also, so I don't know if this pertains to him or it pertains to you. I don't know if someone had more of nerdy kind of vibes and like likes. He's kind of showing me like, it's weird because he was showing me something that kind of resembled like a horse. But then it's almost as if the horse kind of looked more like a dragon of some sort. And things like this kind of showing like to like the fantasy, like nerdy kind of hobbies or just likes, like different types of things. Would he have been alongside of this? It's weird because that specifically has never come through in a reading before. If you guys hear my son, I swear he's with his dad. You had horses, okay. Do you also because he's making me feel like headaches, but I don't think this pertained to him. I feel as though this might be more so even pertained with you. Also, I feel as though he's talking about how his health may have like kind of held him back from doing certain things, but he did too. Okay, I feel as though he's talking about how his health kind of held him back from doing certain things, and I feel as though sometimes his health would even be like disappointing in a way to where like maybe even things were canceled because of it. Okay, it's almost as if he's kind of telling me that he wasn't always even forthright about his health. Like maybe there was like certain things that like he didn't talk about, or like there was just things he never told people. He just didn't like talking about maybe things that were currently going on. And it kind of gives me, he's also telling me how like he's saying like a no doctor knew. Like I feel as though it was like hard for him to actually tell people like what he was feeling, and I feel a lot of it had to do with fear. And I just feel like in general he wasn't someone who was always very on top of his health as well. But I feel as though he was warned many times to change kind of like a health lifestyle, if that makes sense. And I feel as though maybe because he wasn't following through with those, what would you call them? Like he wasn't following through with those recommendations, that he kind of just didn't say that things were getting bad. Now, do you know answers about his heart attack? Yeah. Do you know things about his heart attack? Because I feel as though for him it had a lot to do with like congestive heart failure kind of things. Like I feel as though like things played into like his weight, how he was taking care of himself, the things he was eating, like cholesterol kind of things. I feel as though those were factors that led to his heart attack. He's also showing that there's something to remind you of him, whether this is like a card or this is like a figurine of some sorts that has like wings, like angel wings. Okay. That could be the head as well. I think aneurysm, right? That could have been why he was showing me the headache as well. Hi, Kristen. I'm actually reading for Daisy. This is not spirit-led. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, okay. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I was trying to see your comments to see who you were trying to connect with. I felt bad. I was also I just didn't know if her, no, it's okay. I thought her spelling, I was like, I think that's what she was trying to say was the aneurysm. No, I appreciate it, Kristen. See, I love when you guys have my back in the comments, that you guys help me out. Oh, this is going to be my last for tonight, but send me a message if you would like a private reading, Kristen, or hop on my next live. I'm hoping to go on Thursday around the same time. Did that make sense, Daisy? Okay, all right. I feel as though, are there other things that you have that are tied to Dad? He's also shown me a specific chair. Was there a specific chair that he would, it's like Dad's spot? It's almost like no one even tried to sit in that spot because it was like that was his spot, because he's showing me a chair. Almost looking like maybe even looks like a recliner chair to where it's like individually by itself, or it could just be a spot in general that it was kind of like his spot. He's also showing me kind of sweets things, so I don't know if he had like a sweet tooth of some sort, but he was showing me like donuts, candies of some sort as well. I know he's saying a lot of, it's like in the beginning it was like pulling teeth trying to talk to him, and now he's like open and talking, and now he's like saying all these different things. Usually laid on the couch. Okay. What else did I just say? Oh, like the sweets and stuff. He's also showing me the number 2. The number 2 could be either the month of February, the second of a month, or children. Number 2. And then he's showing me like a heart too, so I feel as though this is directed towards February of some sort. His anniversary was February. Well, that's what the heart is. Oh, that's so sweet. He's kind of being funny, so I don't know, was he funny or like made fun of things, like either make fun of himself? Because he's kind of talking about how like he's talking about how he's like he's an irritating person. It's almost as if he's talking about how like he just was irritating to people because, one, he was like very stubborn. I feel as though he's talking about how it was just like people would get irritated having to deal with him, if that makes sense, because it's like he was stuck in his ways, he was stubborn, it was hard to like get him to want to do things. And I feel as though it's like he also it just almost, and I feel like this is more geared towards Mom as well, and I feel as though he kind of lived to mess with people, if that makes sense. He's kind of like saying like he always pissed Mom off. Like he's talking about how like Mom's always yelling at him. I feel as though he's talking about how he wants to apologize to mom because he feels as though he could have been a little more romantic than he was, or do more out of nowhere kind of gestures for her through him. It's almost as if he's kind of talking about how she kind of settled for that in that way for him. It's almost as if like he did for a time, and then it's like over time he kind of got lazy with it, if that's what you want to say, or he got comfortable in a sense to where it's like he didn't think to go and do those things. And I feel as though he's apologizing for that, but I feel as though he's gonna talk about how like your mom is like strong in general. I feel as though she's independent in her own ways, and I feel as though like that's why it could have worked with them. I do feel as though they did have fights. I do feel like things were very up and down. But I feel after a time, it's like your mom stopped asking for things, if that makes sense. It's kind of like she was like, okay, well, it's inevitable. Why do I keep bringing it up? Why do I keep trying to basically turn him into someone he's not? He's not going to do it. Like, at that point, it kind of loses its momentum. It's like, well, if I'm asking for it, am I really getting a genuine, surprise? Am I getting genuine love? Like, if I have to ask for it, then it's ingenuine. And he's kind of talking about how in general, I just feel like he had a lot of mental health issues himself, and he wasn't very, I don't know if he was very open about it. I feel as though he struggled a lot with his own self as well. She did her own thing after a while, yeah. And I feel as though his mental health really declined. And I just feel like in general, he kind of got a little bit of like depression and kind of like stuck in a rut. And he's kind of talking about how like he was kind of like moping around. It was like he was kind of doing the same thing, his routine every day. It kind of seemed like he would be more like chill, lazy, not really doing much. And I feel as though a lot had to play with like his mental health and his depression. And I feel as though his mental depression was kind of always there his entire life. I feel a lot of it had to stem through his childhood. However, I do feel as though the older he got, the more worse it got. I feel as though he's also talking about how like he worked for a time, and then it's like he wasn't working, or he just wasn't working as much, kind of a thing. It kind of feels as though he really didn't do too much towards the end. Yeah. Was he also like a big soda drinker of some sort? He's showing me like a can, like drinking out of a can. So I guess it could be like beer or soda, but he's showing me a can. It's kind of like can, TV, couch. And that was like his day. Or that's like where he spent most of his time. Okay. And I feel as though this was kind of like how his everyday was. It was couch, TV, and a can. And I just feel as though he just feels like I know you say your mom like kind of started doing her own thing, but he's kind of talking about in general how she still didn't go out and do certain things that she could have if he was a healthy person, if he was not so depressed, kind of a thing. Like, it's almost as if he kind of held her back a lot. And I feel as though this really frustrated her, because I feel as though she really loved him so much. And I feel as though the only reason she was still with him was because of all of the past love that they had shared. And knowing that most of the things that he was going through wasn't his fault. Even though a lot of the stuff wasn't his fault with like that health aspect, like having predisposition to like heart problems. Even though he didn't help with like not eating and taking care of himself. But also at the same time, I feel as though like with his depression and stuff, she knew that like he was going through things. So it's almost as if he's talking about like how she couldn't blame him for certain things, but it still frustrated her because it was still her life too. And it was like she wanted to go and do things. It's not how she pictured her life. She always pictured like, the kids are older now. They can go and do things. They can maybe take trips. They can go and do this and that. And it's like almost like she didn't get to do those things because of him, and he feels like he held her back. but I feel as though he's just talking about how wonderful of a woman she is, to where like he found someone who would be willing to support someone like that, and to like, you know, live up to their vows kind of in sickness and health and stuff, no matter how much it pained her to kind of be held back in that way. But again, he's talking about how loving she is, and like she wasn't a type of person that would do that. Yeah. And I feel as though she's very extroverted in that way. But he apologizes for that. And again, I think he also apologizes to you, because I feel as though there's a lot that he could have done with you. And I feel as though sometimes you think that like you wish you had a different relationship with him. And I feel as though a lot of your relationship with dad always had to tend with him and having his health issues. Like I just feel like that was like a big topic of things, because it had happened a lot in a big important part of your life, if that makes sense. And I feel as though his passing has upped your anxiety by a tenfold. He kind of talks about how you've had anxiety in general. But I feel as though he's talking about how like his passing and all of the health problems leading up to his passing really amped up your anxiety a lot. And I feel as though he's talking about that sick to your stomach feeling that you get when you keep reliving it over and over, and like realizing that like he's not here, he's not coming back. And I also feel as though it's been very stressful for your mom after he passed as well. I don't know if this is on a financial note, or if this was a after his passing and like having to do a lot of things on her own. But I feel as though she's also a strong woman, so she wouldn't specifically sit there and complain about things like that, or like vocalize it. I feel as though she's kind of one that like just kind of rolls with the punches, but I feel as though it's still stressful to a point. And he's talking about the house when it comes to this as well. So I just feel like there was a lot of struggles. And I feel as though he kind of talks about how in general, like he may have been able to change certain health things on a perspective of like eating healthier, or maybe getting the exercise and following all the advice that doctors had given him. But I feel as though he still had things that were like beyond his control, and him just not following those rules just kind of made it worse, maybe even quickened things a little bit. Oof, okay. Yeah, he just kind of talks about a big sadness in the family now that he's not there. But I feel as though someone also, I don't know if this is you or mom, kind of has a relief that he's at peace now too. And to not feel guilty about that. It's almost as if like, okay, he's finally at peace and he's not struggling anymore, and he's not, you know, you can see him on the other side doing all the things that he loved and all the things that he could have done and whatever as well. But someone has that with like a pair of guilt as well for feeling that way. And I feel as though this might be mom. So you might have to ask her specifically if she feels that way. He's also showing me cherries as well. Okay, he showed me cherries as well, so I don't know if he has like, if there's a cherry significance, maybe even like cherry flavoring of some sort, but he just showed me cherries. And I don't know if he had like indigestion as well, but he keeps me, I don't know if you keep seeing me go like this, but I keep like burping like crazy, like indigestion in some sort. Chocolate covered cherries. I love those too, actually. Wait, are they the, oh, what are those called? The little, what were they called? They're like the chocolate, and then they have cherries, and it has cherry juice in it, and you can get them at like the Wawa and stuff. I used to love them, if that's what you're talking about. That's so funny though that he would show me cherries. That's awesome. I feel as though was he into like history too as well? or like did well with like, because he was showing me like brain, so he was showing me like smarts, and he was trying to show me like an education wise, but I feel as though he was kind of saying that like he knew history, or like kind of like more a map kind of stuff. He's like showing me places. I know you said that they traveled, but like was he very well educated in different places around the world? Is that history? Would that be history? Oh, bought your mom some every Christmas. That's so sweet. He's just showing me like knowledge towards kind of stuff like that, like the stuff that bores me personally. Sorry. That's all my husband. He's the history guy. Quit school in the 8th grade. I know, it just feels like he just likes, like if people sit there and say like, oh, like math was my stronger suit, or English was my stronger suit, he just kind of is showing me that like his stronger suit when it came to like school, like something that interested him school, would be more like along the line of like history, social studies, or like what would you say, landmark, something that had to do with like the country, states, and that sort of thing, like traveling kind of a thing. He was in the Air Force. Okay. Well, I guess in the Air Force they had to learn stuff like that. And is there is he religious in any way too? Because he is showing me a cross now too that shows talk about religion. However, I don't feel like there's a strong tie to religion though. Because he didn't give me that vibe. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna keep that to the side. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe you show me a T and not a cross, but I'm gonna write that at the top. If you figure it out, you figure it out. Did you answer me earlier when it is he with his parents and family? Oh yeah, all spirits are with all of their loved ones. They truly are. Loved ones actually come and greet them as they're passing as well. Did you answer my question earlier about the anxiety? That's the only thing that's hard about in the chat, is that we say yes and no's, and I don't know exactly what the yeses and no's were. Because I feel as though he's bringing the anxiety up, and I feel as though you're currently going through something like so stressful. Like I feel as though like you're working yourself sick. Like your anxiety is like actually like starting to affect you like physically, and like yeah. I don't know if you seek therapy for this, or if there's someone that you talk to, but I feel as though he's kind of talking about how you need to focus on getting the help for that. Only because I feel as though he's talking about how there's not much that you can do yourself to fix things, because I feel as though he's talking about how like you're just an anxiety filled person in general. So in order to fix your anxiety, you got to figure out where your anxiety is stemming from. I feel as though he's talking about how you've done it before. And did you also struggle with this in like your childhood? Because I feel as though this is not something that you had accumulated later. I just feel as though it's just gotten worse as you've gotten older. It doesn't speak to me anymore. Oh, okay. Well, that would cause someone to have severe anxiety. He keeps saying the word choices. So I don't know if this is because of choices you've made, or things that you guys don't see eye to eye with. Choices. A little bit I did when younger. But in all, I feel as though he's kind of talking about how you kind of like need to focus on yourself. I feel as though you have a lot of things that you need to work through yourself, that it's not even worth trying to place boundaries. Yeah, and it feels as though that's literally what he's just saying. You need to focus on yourself. You have a lot of stuff that you already have going on yourself. There's no reason to be entertaining anyone else's opinions. I feel as though he's kind of talking about in general, like you have a lot going on and you can't be worrying about problems that don't stem from what you got going on, because it's kind of building up right now. And I feel as though it's starting to affect you physically. And once it starts affecting you physically, there's a lot of things that you can't undo. So he definitely wants you to focus on yourself. And I'm going to take that as for about a year or so. Yeah. I feel as though there's a lot of self-care you need to do. I feel as though you have a lot of guilt in your heart as well. And he's talking about how you need to kind of forgive yourself for feeling that way. And I feel as though he says you have nothing to be guilty for. You have nothing to be ashamed of. I feel as though he's kind of siding with you, between you and your mom a little bit. I just feel as though he knows where your heart is. He knows where your heart is. He knows that you do the things that you do for reasons. And he's kind of saying, like, stick to your guns. And I feel as though she's got a lot of things going on herself. And I feel as though this is why you had to put up boundaries, because it feels as though, like, she's kind of going, like, a little AWOL here. I think that things will get better with your mom the more that you pull away. I feel like distance will grow the heart fonder, if that makes sense. I don't see her completely letting up, because I feel as though there's a big stubborn side to her, and I feel as though she's not one to sit there and admit when she's wrong. She's not one to sit there and apologize. Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of seems like she's someone who's stuck in her ways. But I feel as though, again, there's nothing to be guilty. Yeah. I feel as though there's nothing to be guilty about when it comes to her, though. Like, it's kind of like she made her bed, now she has to lay in it, if that makes sense. And I feel as though you shouldn't have to minimize yourself just to appease her, if that makes sense. And I feel as though he's like, you know what to do. You've been doing what you got to do. You need to focus on yourself. This is your time. And he says, like, to stop having the guilt there from that. I feel like you feel guilty for setting your boundaries. And he's like, don't feel guilty for setting boundaries. Clearly, you had to set boundaries in the first place because there was a problem, if that makes sense. And I feel as though that's the voice of reason that he would give you when he was still here. Because he's not going to badmouth your mom. And I feel as though he wouldn't badmouth your mom, especially to you. Like, there's a respect boundary there. But he is on your side. He does understand why you're doing what you're doing, and he accepts it. I feel like he also encourages it because he understands what you're going through. And so don't have guilt about it. And I think that's the message that he wants to relay to you, is that there's no reason for you to feel the way that you do with the guilt, because she kind of did it to herself. So I hope that helps. I'm going to send you, because I didn't say this spiel when you came on, I will send you the notes from today's reading in your messages. If for some reason your settings don't allow messages to come through your chat, I will then send you my email, and then, or ask for your email, and then I will send it to you through email. This video, all my readings on live are uploaded to my YT channel, guys. I can't say the specific app without getting banned here. But I hope that helped. And I'm going to leave his love and light with you. Thank you for being vulnerable and allowing a reading with others to watch. We all appreciate you for that. Thank you to everyone who's following. Thank you, Sammy, for the follow. Thank you guys for the likes. I do have to get off because my husband does have work, and now I have to go and relieve him from my son. Everyone pray for me that he's in a good mood today, because he was not happy that he was banging on my door and I didn't let him in. But thank you guys so much. I know it was a pretty weak night. Again, this is my first time coming on a Tuesday. We didn't have that many on here. It was kind of nice, actually, not having to go through like a million comments. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and go ahead and send some love my way as I do